just a brief introduction. My name is Tina Chagoury. I was diagnosed at the age of 39. That was summer of 2019. So before the whole world changed. So I was diagnosed. I actually detected the lump myself while I was getting dressed. So I had never done a mammogram before. I was below 40. I've always done my yearly screening at the doctor, the ultrasound when needed, the clinical exam. I always self-checked. So when I felt a lump as I was getting ready, I knew something was wrong because I know my normal. So I knew what my breast looked like before, and that lump was new. So immediately I checked with my doctor, and then he checked it clinically at the beginning. And then, funny enough, for him and for the few others that also detected or felt my lump, they didn't think it was anything to worry about, but they anyway asked me to go for ultrasounds just to be on the safe side. And then I did the ultrasound, I did the mammogram. Immediately, the technician knew something was off immediately before he even read the results, while doing the ultrasound, actually. So he obviously saw something that made him quite certain that it would be cancerous. And then they asked me for further tests. Of course, I did my biopsies, my MRIs, my scans. And then a couple of weeks later, I was diagnosed with stage 2 invasive ductal carcinoma. And immediately afterwards, I started my chemotherapy. Yeah, I mean, I was in Lebanon for the holidays, so the support was definitely there. It was, sometimes I think it was, things happen at the right time when they're supposed to happen. So I am grateful that I wasn't diagnosed when I was on my own in Dubai, for instance, without any family support. So the support was there, definitely. There were my parents, my mom. My dad had passed away 2 months before my diagnosis. So my parents, my mom, my in-laws, my husband, my sister, my brother. So definitely that support was there. The treatment was very harsh. Just to put it in very simple terms, it's the most difficult thing a body can endure. Chemotherapy, the protocol I was put on, because I was only 39, and because it was stage 2, because there was one lymph node affected. So it was the harsh protocol. It's called, anyways, dose dense protocol. So the first 4 sessions or 6, I think 6 sessions, which means the first 4 sessions. So the first 8 weeks were I was as if I was hibernating, because all I remember is going to the hospital, getting my treatment, coming back home, and then sleeping for 7 days, and then waking up for like 3-4 days. I was okay, so I would be able to actually leave the room, maybe have some visitors or my mom or some friends. And then, before I know it, it was scheduled for the next session, and I would go and do it again. So side effects were very harsh, be it nausea, fatigue, body aches, bone aches. When you're doing this kind of dose-dense treatment, you are also on medication. So you're on high levels of steroids. You're having immunity injections to boost immunity after every session. You're taking so many pills to avoid nausea, which is non-avoidable. And then this is only physical, so let alone this is only, symptoms, like physical symptoms, but then you have the whole mental and anxiety and fear and worry, and so it all comes together. It sort of puts you in like I said, in a hibernating mode. It's like you shut down and you just do what they tell you to do. You don't think. You stop thinking and analyzing and why it happened and why me and what did I do wrong. You stop. And then you just go with the flow. So the first 8 weeks, I don't remember much of them. I couldn't even see my kids. So I could hear them. Even the voices, the noises would trigger my nausea. So it was very hard. But then after you finish this dose dense, and obviously every week when you go to do your treatment, you meet with the doctor, with the oncologist, with the nurses, you get good news. So they check the tumor clinically, they give you good news like, yes, it's responding. They're encouraging. The nurses are just angels. They're helping you. You see other patients. I met friends. I made friends. I made a very, very good friend in chemotherapy who's younger than me, who had just been married, and she was just diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer like me. So there's so many things to share. So you create a life for yourself in the hospital. So you look forward to going, funny enough. But then after the dose dens, I was put on Taxol, which is the most common treatment for breast cancer, for another 12 weeks. I forgot the timings, but around that much. So it was once every other week, if I remember properly, or weekly. Much less side effects. You could actually go out, you could see people, you could drive, you could eat, you could enjoy your time. It was just a couple of days after the treatment to get nauseous, but that's about it. So nothing major. Of course, then you have, after the second session, actually, from the dose dens, you lose your hair, and then you change physically. You lose your head, you're tired, your body changes, you gain so much weight with the steroids. You're a different person. So after 8 weeks, actually, when this was done and I was moving to the next stage, I couldn't recognize myself. So it was very harsh. It was life-changing, definitely. So after I finished my Taxol treatment, so that finished my chemotherapy, I was thankfully I responded very well. The tumor was almost all gone. They had to do the surgery, so they opted for a lumpectomy instead of a mastectomy, which means the removal of the lump. I did the surgery. Of course, there's a month break between the treatment and the surgery. And then after the surgery, there's another month, and I did the radiotherapy. So the radiotherapy, I did it in Dubai because I had, with my treatment, I relocated the whole family. So I had to put my kids in school in Lebanon. I had to relocate my life there. So that was also a sort of stress. But then right before my surgery, I brought my kids back. It was term 2, so they joined the school back. I was less stressed out because things were back to normal. And then I did my surgery. Then I did my radiotherapy. Radiotherapy was a walk in the park compared to everything else. So it was a daily 5-minute session for a month. And then it was just to basically clear up and prevent any recurrence in the area. No, actually, because there was none. Like I said, the nurses were very helpful. Survivors, I got to connect with breast cancer survivors. I couldn't find many young breast cancer survivors who were out there, who were sharing their experience, especially in the Arab region. So I found it a bit difficult because whenever I would look for survivors, it would be menopausal women, it would be older women, and I wouldn't feel any connection because I can't relate to them. So this was one of the main things that led me to decide that once, I finish with my treatment and if I can, I would like to at least be there for the young breast cancer fighters out there who need advice, who have questions, who are worried about certain symptoms. Tell them that these things are normal. Tell them that, these are things that this is just a phase, basically. So whatever you're going through, you'll get out of it. You just need to be strong. You just need to do the things that you love doing. And luckily, I'm very lucky to have had the opportunity when I came back to Dubai to spread this awareness. Because I was already on TV doing my nutrition segments, so I was lucky enough to get the opportunity to do that awareness, raise that awareness on TV. I was I had the opportunity to do small documentaries in magazines and in the media in general. And this helped because after every event, I would get on my Instagram a lot of requests from breast cancer fighters and survivors who either tell me, you gave us hope, you encouraged us, my sister is going through this and she's in a very bad shape. Could you talk to her? My mom is going through this. My daughter is going through this. And this alone gave me so much strength in my healing process that, you have to be there for those people. You have to do something for them, even if it's just being there and just answering them and giving them your mobile number. They would call me sometimes and tell me, I'm going through this, does it ever stop? Will I ever feel normal again? Will I ever be able to work again? And these are the things that, mentioning those only gives me goosebumps, because this is what I needed when I was going through this, and I couldn't find the answers, and just being able to tell them, yes, things will go back again, and yes, you can do this, and it's okay to eat this, and it's okay to do that, because it happens. So that I'm a clinical dietitian as well. So I get a lot of questions about, what shall I eat? What shall I not eat? Is it true that sugar feeds cancer cells and then I have to stop sugar? All those myths that people start throwing in the face of a cancer fighter, thinking they're helping, but in fact they're not helping at all. Because when you're struggling to breathe, and when you're struggling to just stay awake, when you're struggling to not be nauseous only, you don't want to hear those stories about, don't eat ice cream, it can trigger something, or I read, or my aunt told me, or my grandma passed away because of, people don't realize how every word is important when you're talking to a cancer fighter. You can't give examples of people who passed away of breast cancer. You can't tell a person, oh, my aunt had breast cancer. Yeah, she had it like she was young also. And then you tell her, oh, how is she now? Oh, she passed away. Even if it's reality and if it's truth, you don't have to mention it. This is something that would stick with the patient for nights on, ruminating the idea that, oh my God, will I die from it? You want to tell a story of hope. Tell a story of someone you knew who was cured. Tell a story, a funny story. Tell them jokes. Just be there. You don't need to be the dietitian or the doctor or the psychiatrist or the psychotherapist. You just need to be a friend. You need to be there, get them their favorite food, take care of their kids. Entertain their kids if you have other kids. That's it. I'm so grateful that usually before every session, they do a general blood test to make sure that you are able to handle it, that your immunity is not very, very low. And thankfully, I never had to reschedule any session. And of course, that's a fear a cancer patient lives with every week. Will my white blood cells be okay? Can I do this session? Will it delay it? Is something wrong? So thank God. Things were normal. I have to mention that before my diagnosis, I was I still am very healthy, but I was, I'm a dietitian, so I knew what to eat. I did yoga 6 hours a week. I was pretty fit. I knew that, I knew how to keep myself healthy. So I always say that I think, because when I was first diagnosed, the first thought everyone had, like, you got breast cancer? If you got breast cancer, who wouldn't get it? Because of my lifestyle. But then even I asked myself, like, really? I've done everything I'm supposed to do. But then when I started responding to the treatment, even the doctors and the nurses would ask me, like, what's your lifestyle like? What do you eat? What do you do? Because the results all the time were quite good, because I responded well, because my immunity stayed strong, I think everything I've done before paid off, paid off in my healing process. It might not have prevented it from happening, but it did help a lot with my healing. So thankfully I didn't have any complications other than the logistics in terms of having to move the kids' schools, and had some issues with the school at the beginning, and then this sort of things, but that's it. Listen, definitely, like I told you, I was very healthy before, and I followed the rules of healthy living. But after breast cancer, there's a new door that opened. That opened in front of my eyes, and it's the cancer prevention door. Like, it's not enough to eat well, and to exercise. There's a lot of hidden truth that even us dietitians were not taught at university. And I started teaching myself about inflammation, about chronic inflammation, about the foods that trigger inflammation, because this is what I think not caused, but definitely was one of the main factors in my breast cancer. Inflammation that results from daily stress, inflammation that results from sometimes eating more of certain ingredients, and most importantly, inflammation that could result from deficiencies. Although I'm a dietitian, I was more into, eat healthy and don't take supplements. If you eat healthy, you don't need supplements. But then I did a lot of research during the process. I had a lot of time on my hands. So I did a lot of research, and I realized how important it is to not be deficient in certain key nutrients. And this is now what I definitely preach, especially to my women patients, about vitamin D, about keeping your hormones in check, about keeping your immunonutrient in check, meaning vitamin C and zinc, taking your vitamin Bs, taking your magnesium, because they all interact. And I'm not saying a deficiency in one leads to cancer, but there are researches about the link between vitamin D, for instance, major vitamin D deficiency, and the chances of being diagnosed at a later stage of cancer. Because vitamin D is a pro-hormone, and it does help a lot with the mechanism and the pathways of cancer. So just make sure that you're always on top of your nutrition, your nutrients, your vitamins, your supplements. Eat healthy, of course. Eat your fruits, eat your vegetables, eat organic whenever you can. Don't choose cheap ingredients. Don't go for cheap meat. Don't go for cheap chicken, because these are the types of meats that are highly inflammatory. Choose grass-fed, good quality beef if you eat beef. Choose hormone-free organic chicken if you eat chicken. Choose whenever you can and whenever it's available organic, locally farmed fruits and vegetable. Eat a lot of fish, but don't eat processed fish. Eat, wild caught from the market fish, local if you can. Don't use processed oils, refined oils. Use a lot of olive oil, avocado oil, walnut oils. So choose your oils, choose your ingredients, basically. So eating out every day, for instance, a salad does not make you healthy. This salad could be made from processed vegetables, could be made from imported vegetables. The oils used in the dressing could be refined. It might have been for weeks in the fridge, the vegetables. So freshness and wholesomeness does not mean a salad only. And then eating like lettuce, cucumber, tomatoes, and a boiled egg, this is not being healthy. Being healthy is choosing the leaves or the green leaves that give you some nutrients, having spinach, adding sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, olive oil, avocados, olives, adding fish to your salad, with the dressing, adding crushed nuts. So just, add goodness. I always talk about how to add goodness in meals on my page. So this is the advice I give. Exercise, but don't go crazy. Intense exercise for women has been proven to increase inflammation. So don't go crazy for 2 hours. Wake up at 5 to do your workout. Sleep, if you have to choose between good sleep and exercise, I would choose sleep. Sleep enough, sleep good, have a good quality sleep. And then yes, exercise, go for walks, swim, do yoga, do Pilates. You don't need to go to those classes that drain you and you don't rest, and then your inflammation increases, and then you wonder, why am I not losing weight? I'm barely eating lettuce and chicken and exercising every day for 2 hours. That's because your inflammation is very high. That's because you're increasing stress hormones in your body. This sort of things. My message to the women in the community, and I would like to specifically message young women, breast cancer can happen at any age. It doesn't happen only after your menopause or at your aunt's age or your grandma's age or your mom's age. It can happen to you if you're 20. It really happens at any age. Yes, statistically, it is less prevalent or frequent at a younger age, but it can happen. So know yourself, know your breast, do your self-exams. Don't be shy. If you feel something, don't be embarrassed or shy to ask your mom or your doctor or your friend even. Tell someone. Seek help. There are so many companies that always do free and complimentary screening. Use that. If you're shy, if you don't want to share with anyone, you're embarrassed, just go to those screenings. And then there you'll get a professional advice. 80% of the time, it's nothing. The lump you're feeling is nothing. But then there's 20%, there might be a chance that it could be cancer. And if you catch it early, you will be cured. don't delay it. Delaying any symptom that you don't feel is okay, because you have gut feelings. You would feel like this doesn't seem right. And if you think that it doesn't seem right, then it most probably isn't right. So go have it checked, take advantage of those screenings. And if you have a gynecologist or a doctor or a family doctor, just, ask them, call them, visit them, because again, it is curable. It is, and if it's not curable, at least at an early stage, it's manageable. In this time, the statistics are so good when it comes to breast cancer in terms of treatment and prevention. So really, early detection, it might sound cliche, like you read it everywhere, but early detection saves life. And it did save my life. So just go ahead and do your screening, and don't hesitate.